Hey guys, it's Ender. I'm still a little sick, but I'm not coughing nearly as much as I was yesterday. Here I am back at Duma as Whiskey X-Ray 74 in Papua New Guinea. Um, yeah, without further ado, you can see the beautiful Dreamfoil 206. I think meant for X-Plane 10, but still flies pretty lovely in X-Plane 11, minus a few hiccups. Not a big deal. Really love the way it looks with the doors open, and I love even more the visibility I get with the doors open. I did kind of get out here and mess around with the 206 with a full payload, and I ran into loss of tail rotor effectiveness, which I might show you later on, guys. But right now, I got a payload that is equivalent to about 3 people plus some of their gear, about 600 pounds. So we're going to go hit up some new helipads that I put out here. I got real world weather loaded in right now. You can see it's a pretty nice day. Looked at my outside air temperature sensor in the aircraft, and it was showing about, I think, 70 degrees. So remember, we're starting up high altitude here. So single engine, 2 rotor blades. Should be a interesting time here. Excuse me. All right, just so you guys can see what I'm working with here. Got about 630 pounds. Center of gravity's default. I got about 290 pounds of fuel. Hour and 38 minutes of flying time. So, all right, and we'll just confirm. We'll start that timer. All right, fuel quantity is about 40 gallons. Again, this side of the gauge is in op. Everything else is looking good. I'm going to have to watch this gauge. I'm going to have to watch this gauge. I'm going to try and keep this below 82%. That gets me into the caution range, or excuse me, 84% will get me into the caution range, and then anything beyond that is caution. And if I go past red line, then I probably have a few seconds of engine time left. Excuse me. All right. Look at that. Power turbine, N2 limitations. Max turbine, 100%. Minimum turbine 97 above 8,000 feet. That'll apply to us today. So minimum turbine 97%. So minimum 97%. I think it's talking about this T right here. That's 5, 6, 7. So as long as we treat the engine with care, we should be good. So power's coming in, nice and slow. Too much left cyclic there. All right, we're in a ground effect hover. Looks like 71, 72% maybe. Windsock is showing a left quartering tailwind. We're just going to kind of hover taxi out here. Try not to add any more power, just floating around in ground effect. So that side of the strip goes uphill and obviously terminates into the side of that hill. So we're going to go this way, which terminates over a river valley. Excuse me. So reducing my pressure on the left pedal, the nose will swing around due to torque effect. One last chance to check our instruments. So all instruments are checked. All warning lights, cautions are checked. Power indications look good. Say we're good for takeoff. I got field elevation set into the altimeter. This will be a level acceleration takeoff. So all I'm going to do is at this power setting, without touching the collective, I'm just going to lower the nose a little bit and just pick up airspeed as I go down this hill. We'll go through ETL. Should be right about there. ETL is anywhere from 16 to 24 knots. And we just fly away at this power setting. Level acceleration takeoff. Alright, first stopper is going to be the new helipads that I've put down. And we'll just kind of work our way from highest, or excuse me, from lowest to highest. Might take us a little bit to get out there. So you see this like field down here? The hill just beyond it, right over my GPS, there's a radio tower up there. In fact, there's 3 radio towers before us that you can't yet see. But at the base of each radio tower is a helipad, and down inside the trees. So it should be they should all be pretty confined area landings. So I'm gonna have to do a good recon, check them all out, and figure out how I want to initiate my approach. Remembering that the wind is coming from about my 1 o'clock right now. We're going to put this first radio tower at the right side of the aircraft so I can get a better look. Have not changed my power settings since I took off. Maybe I'm forgetting the placement of my own helipads. Okay. Alright, we're going to start a climb. There's a radio tower. Okay. So I just eased up on my cyclic pressure that I'm holding forward right now, so that the nose will, or the attitude will get me to 60 knots, and then from there I should hold 60 knots with my pitch, and just keep climbing. So I just blasted through 60 knots and lowering the nose. So there it is up there. I got to be really careful. I know I'm in a helicopter, but I'm flying into this canyon. This is more of an issue with airplanes, but we're at high altitude. Sometimes you can fly yourself into a trap. So just something to be cognizant of. You can get into a spot so tight that you can't get out of. A lot less likely in a helicopter, of course. And I got plenty of power to spare here. But right here, I'm going to initiate a U-turn, if you will, and try and not lose any more speed than I already have. We're just trying to climb up to the altitude of that. That was poor planning on my part. I was thinking the wrong hilltop here, so had I known that, I probably would have already been at the altitude when I arrived. So there we go. We're about level right now. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, but just on the top of that hill right there, little radio tower. So we're going to start slowing back, and we're going to do a power check. It's alright, we're at about 7,500 feet. I got plenty of space to work with here. I'm more or less into the wind, so I'm going to do an out-of-ground effect hover and see where we sit. So about a little shy of 80% at a hover. Turbine temperature looks good, so we're going to initiate this approach. First, we'll do a recon. I don't know if you can see it, but it's a steel grated landing pad right at the base of that thing. So we'll swing back out. Alright, all warning lights are checked, all caution lights are checked. N2 and R looking good. Hover power was noted. And we're going to bring it in. So it's kind of down in the trees, but it's right at the side of this hill. So if we come in from this direction, the winds are actually working perfectly in our favor right now. Looks like there's going to be one tree that might get in our way, so we might have to... Yeah, this is actually going to be a confined area landing. Though I have no doubt my rotor blades would fit that gap. We're going to come in over the trees, adding power now to affect that. It's all about reference point. So I'm using that tree straight ahead. The trunk of that tree is my reference point. If I stay lined up with that, I know I'll land on the pad. And then if I can line up with this tree just to my 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock now, I know I'll also be on the pad. Trying to look down as I go. Power is slightly out. All those confined LZs that I did in San Francisco are really helping me out right now, but this is a lot higher. Alright, pad's in sight, that's good. Drifting back. Okay, power's coming out. Relax my pressures and all the flight controls. Collect us full down, and we'll pop outside and see how we did. Let's check out that flight path. You can see it more or less came straight down. A little wobbly, but that's alright. Looks a lot smoother when you're looking at it in real time. Let's do a quick replay of that. Oh, that's cool. You heading back into work, Dan? You heading back into work? So you can see we're clear of that tree just barely. Just barely. A little closer than I wanted to be. Definitely didn't realize I was that close, if I'm being honest. Since X-Plane doesn't really simulate collision, object collision, you know, it's more or less the honor system. You got to check yourself in these situations. But I missed it, so I made it. That's cool. All right, we're back in. Power's coming in, left pedal, left cyclic. There we go, power's at 80%, just nice. Confined area takeoff. Utilizing reference points straight ahead and on the edges of my screen to go straight up. So we're clear of the trees to the right. We're not clear left, so we'll just kind of let the helicopter go this way. Alright, and we're out of there. So next stop is top of this next hill up here. So I'm going to ease up on the torque here, and that should cool off the engines at least enough so I can utilize the caution range of my temperature on the next landing. I don't know if you guys can see it or not, but there's another tower up there. Got about 40 knots indicated. GPS is saying 42 knots ground speed. So actually this is the most highest of the new helipads that I've put in. So lining up with what I said earlier, not so much. I said earlier that we go from lowest to highest, and I just landed at the middle pad, I'm pretty sure. You can see it back there. If I pop on my flight path, you can see where we were. Starting to get a little breezy up here. I'm getting buffeted around by the winds. There we go. Time to recon. Excuse me. There we go. Alright. Kind of a small helipad. Confined area again. It's just inset from the edge of the cliff. And that sloping terrain going down into it's going to present a hazard for the tail. Found that out the hard way the other day. So, just some experience gleaned from recent activities. Also, I can land on that rock just below, too. Which we'll do after this, just for shits and giggles. So we'll come in from the cliffside, and we'll get over the pad, and I'll do a left pedal turn to get my tail away from the sloping terrain. And as long as I keep my nose towards the front of the pad, I should have no problem clearing those trees with my tail on the backside. So we'll set up long, and I will do a power check. Alright, we're about 10,000 feet right now. 9,000. 9,900, excuse me. Alright, nice and slow back here. I'm still above ETL, about to transition through it, which is going to require a ton more power. Alright, 9,900. Still got hover capability out of ground effects, so that tells me that I should be able to get out of there once I land. And I also know I'll be able to arrest my descent, as long as it doesn't get too wild or out of hand. Nosing down for 30 knots. There's 30 knots right there, and I'll just walk it in nice and easy. See what my ground speed's reading. Ground speed's reading about 30, so airspeed's reading about 30, 31. Tells me that either I have no winds right now or I have a direct crosswind. And since I'm not getting blown sideways, I'm going to say I have no winds at this altitude. Which is funny because I thought I went through a section of winds there. I'm going to have to scoot around the left side of this tree right here. I had to look around the panel to make sure I wasn't blocking a tree with the instrument panel. Power's coming in nice and easy, nice and easy, nice and easy. Alright, there's the hover. Left pedal turn, just like I briefed. Keeping the nose on this side of the pad, should clear my tail back. Using reference points outside of the aircraft right now. Controlling the aircraft based on what I'm experiencing visually outside of the aircraft. A little close to that tree in front. I'm going to just scoot back just a little. There we go. We're going to set it down. The ground should be a surprise. And it was. Power's coming out, nice and easy. Okay, let's see how we did. See how close I got to that tree in front. I wouldn't be surprised if I actually clipped that tree when I was coming in. See that flight path. Yeah, judging by the flight path there, it might have happened. We'll see. Sorry guys, you gotta bear with me. I always like replaying the flight path just so I can see how I did. You can see I did my hover power check right there. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool scene. Alright, now we're going to check to see if I clipped the tree right here. Looks like I never even got close. That's the thing, man. You always got way more room than you think you do. And for that matter, further to go than you think you do, which is why the ground is always a surprise. Alright guys, I'm going to put that on replay again because I have to go throw in a pizza into the oven. So I'm just going to leave this right here. I'll be back real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, I apologize. I'm back. Gonna set a reminder on my stopwatch just to be sure that I don't forget to take it out because of all the fun I'm having right here with you. Okay. This replay mode in X-Plane is so cool. Alright, so replay mode is off. We're back in the aircraft. Feels good. All indications, all warning lights, cautions look good. Power's coming in. This helipad is noted at 9,700. Find area, you just go straight up. Using references outside of the aircraft to hold your hover. I'm kind of like gazing into the forest straight ahead, glancing only occasionally at my power. Ooh, loss of tail rotor effectiveness right there. That's spooky and freaky. Okay, alright. So I'm full left pedal right now. This is going to be an issue later on. Finally, the aircraft is starting to yaw left. Alright, looks like we're clear, so I'm gonna send it. Alright, there we go. Wow. Yeah, that was an issue I had earlier too. Well, it looks like my track IR wanted to wig out because of the sunlight coming in right now through the window. Whew, man. Nerve-wracking. It's only gonna get harder from here. Oh, that's not true. I got one more helipad that's at a lower altitude. But just for fun, we're gonna swing around over here and land on that rock ledge. Just because we can. Alright, the rock ledge is just to the right of the GPS antenna. We're coming in just above, just over ETL. I said ETL happens anywhere between 16 and 24 knots. So, on the back side of ETL, on the bottom side of ETL, you require a lot more power to hold a hover. Realizing now that I didn't do a good recon on this rock, I don't even know if I have the rotor clearance to clear it. I mean, yeah. I know that I typically always have more room than I think I do. Going left pedal now. We'll see if I got loss of tail rotor effectiveness. A little close to the edge for comfort. I gotta set her down right here. Ease off the collective nice and smoothly. So curious. Yeah, I'm not hitting that cliff edge, but gosh, if I'm not close. Ah. Alright, here we go. Alt-R. Pop it out. Really Really just curious to see how close I got to the cliff. Really didn't want to get any closer than I was, so yeah, it was good. Alright, we're back in. Off to the next helipad. Power's coming in. And I'm pretty much just going to dive bomb off this rock. Right on. Right on, brother. See the other radio tower right now. The next radio tower is off at 12 o'clock. I'm sure you guys can't see it in the stream. Of course, I don't have that issue right now, so about level with it. Going to maintain this altitude. Alright, I'm indicating about 94 knots and showing 105 right now ground speed, which means I got a tailwind. So the winds are in anywhere from the southwest, which means that when I come in for this landing, preferably I'm going to be wanting to point over the top of the cliff. So I'll come in from the backside. Alright, it's a wire grate. So really, though, the safest way to approach this is from over the cliff. It's not really a cliff right there, is it? From over the edge. From this direction. GPS is saying a ground speed right now is 63 and I'm indicating 50. Generally, I want to have a higher indicated airspeed and a slower ground speed. Slowed it down a little too much. Just got to gain a little bit of airspeed. We're going to bring it in from this direction, and I think that will give me the best of both worlds. Showing about 19 ground speed right now. So that gives me, and I'm indicating 20 knots. I'm showing about 20 knots ground speed. So this direction gives me pretty much a left crosswind. I can kind of feel it right now. So yeah, and this helipad is lower than the last one. I remember going through this band of wind. So I got a left crosswind right now. So winds are from about the west. All instruments are checked. All warning lights, cautions are checked. Indications look good. I'm not going to do a power check because I've already done one at a higher altitude. So we're going to come in level altitude right along here. If I have to escape, it'll be down to the left. And we're just going to kind of let the wind blow us into the pad here. I'm holding a little bit of left cyclic right now. I'm sure you can see it in the attitude indicator. And when I level out. The winds will just kind of do their thing. Of course, I'll help the aircraft along with a little bit of cyclic input. Alright, now I just let the aircraft settle nice and easy. Let the ground be a surprise. There it is. It's really bright right here. Jeez. It's about the time I said I was going to let it just settle down. So the aircraft is just finding its way down to the pad, and I just got to make sure it stays over that spot. Alright. Nope. We're back in it. I got 3 minutes before my pizza has to come out. Okay. Gonna take off here. Power's coming in, adding left pedal as necessary to maintain those. A little bit too much aft and left cyclic. There we go. Don't want to be sliding around when you don't know what's around you that well. Alright, we got plenty of power, so I'm just going to kind of do the old confined area takeoff here. We're just going to, drifting. Way too much drift. Let's see if I can nose into the wind here. That might give me a little bit of a... Alright, I'm maximum left pedal right now, trying to get into this wind. Oh, come on, baby. That's it, I can't do it. I can't... The force of the wind over the fuselage is too much for the... there we go. Too much for the tail rotor to overcome. Alright. Alright, off to our next destination. Here in about 2 minutes, guys, I'm going to have to pop off to to get a pizza out of the oven. But I'll put it in replay mode and I'll do AI controls views and we'll see how that goes. Alright, yeah. For sure, from here on out, it'll only get harder. All the other pads, I'm pretty sure, are higher than the ones that we've just landed at. This 206 is really, really challenging to fly in these conditions. Definitely a lot to think about. Oh, wow. I don't know. I just realized that the Bell 407 is also a single engine. Duh. But it's got 2 more blades and probably a more powerful engine. I was going to say, it does a lot better. That's a really steep little canyon right there. I'm going to have to check that out on the way back to the airstrip. Alright, we're really trucking along here. Ground speed is 142 knots. I'm indicating 120. Again, with winds out of the west-ish. Alright guys, I'm sorry, but I gotta pause it real quick. And I gotta go replay mode. We'll come back a couple minutes here. We'll play and we'll go view. I don't know how this is supposed to work, but it's supposed to be like AI controls your views. Alright, I'll be right back. Okay, alright, I'm back. Okay, so so it looks like the AI did change my view. Alright, we're gonna unclick that. Okay. And I'm going to turn replay mode off. We're in pause, and I can see what is happening here. My track IR is not working. Alright, I gotta figure this out. Flight. AI controls your view. No, 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 no. Oh, God. Whew, that was close. I don't know what that was about. Anyway, we just flew past our pad here. Well, it was below us, so it's lower than one of those last pads, so I know I'm going to have the power for it. So power's out. I'm not going to turn into a mountain right now. About to turn into the wind, so my ground speed should start slowing down. I don't see my LZ. Oh, there it is, right there. So it's about 8,600 feet. Okay, altitude should be good. My conditions have improved, so I don't need to do a hover power check. I have less fuel and less altitude, so I'll be alright. I'm going to swing the nose around to the left here, and that'll get me pointed into the wind. Alright, I just initiated a descent. Gonna start my left-hand turn now. I'm a little fast, so I'm gonna bring it back. Really gotta watch that descent right now, because I am ultra high. This has been a bad approach. Going to get into the vortex or settling with power zone here in a second if I'm not careful. There we go. Got a airspeed indication right now because I'm into the wind. Alright. Gonna be more or less perpendicular with the pad right now. Full left pedal. I'm barely eking out a lateral slide right now. Okay. We're over the pad. I'm going to nice and easy let the nose swing right. Really got to go slow here because I'm dealing with reduced tail rotor effectiveness. Ooh, I'm overcorrecting. Alright, there we go. Phew. Alright, we're good. Plenty of room to move about the helicopter on the pad, so that's cool. That's the exact reason why I let the aircraft nose to the right. That way, you know, if this were the real deal, anybody wouldn't be looking down the side of this mountain. So that's good. Flight path looks pretty stable, actually, surprisingly. Alright, Alt-R. You can see my crab angle right there. You can see the wind's blowing me. Except this shows the wind coming in from the left, so I don't know. Maybe I'm not really thinking about where the wind's coming from here as good as I could. Oh, shit. Oh, I missed it. I was setting off to the right so I could do my turn inbound and have the wind helping me. But now I'm not so sure that that was actually the case. Anyway, here comes the turn inbound. Pretty steep descent there. That's when I mentioned something about settling with power. The plan was to line up parallel to the pad, which I did right there, and then I knew I'd be clear of the trees and obstacles, so I slid in. I had max left pedal right there, and I was barely had a left yaw there, so I knew I had a little bit of tail pedal to work with. Now I'm letting the nose slide right. I'm keeping my distance from the wall there, the obvious obstacle. I know my tail's clear on the backside. And now it's just about getting it down. I was talking about overcorrecting at that point. And I get it down. Alright. Alright, we're back at it. Let me make sure my dog's not licking my pizza right now. Oh no, he's being a good boy, taking a nap. Oh no, my track IR just fell behind the computer screen. There we go. Alright. Okay. Back at it. Coming off, the dog came over to say hi, of course. Alright. Power's coming in. Okay, I got some power to play with here. That's good. There's the extra 10%. I know I'm clear of that tree behind me if I can keep climbing, which I'm not. There we go. Still makes me nervous. We'll just go back out the way we came. Alright, got a lot of altitude to gain now, so we'll just kind of cruise out here. Just over 700 degrees Celsius on the engine temperature. It's okay. It looks like my caution range is about 2, 4. I can't see it. 2, 4, 6. Nope. 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like 45. 35. Oh, I'm all over the place here. Aviate. Navigate. Communicate. So essentially I'm expecting that gas turbine temperature to go up as we climb in altitude. Almost up to 10,000 feet. I'm pretty sure the next helipad is at 10,000 feet. You can see the last helipad is down there, just over the magnetic compass. This is such a cool region. Excuse me. Feeling a change in the winds. I could really help myself if I could figure out how to put down a windsock at these places. Alright, this is a pretty high helipad here. We're at 11th, excuse me, 10,100 feet. um, no, I'm sorry, we're at 1,200 feet. There she blows. So it's actually not nearly as confined as some of the other ones, so it should be pretty straightforward. The only issue here is that it's high altitude. So as per before, not going any lower than 12,000 feet. Sorry. 11,200. Alright, so there. I'm at a hover and I had lost tail rotor effectiveness. Ground speed says 24 knots. Sideways and drifting right. So winds are from the left. We're just going to nose back into them. Might help if I did my power check into the wind. It'd probably help a lot. There we go. That's much better. I got tail rotor effectiveness. Still marginal on the left side, of course. It's always going to be marginal on that side. Alright, we're going to make our way in. Temperature looks good. All other indications look good. So it's not ideal landing with our tail rotor towards the direction of ingress and the egress of the pad, but for safety of flight reasons, we must. Everything has to be really nice and easy now. So nice controlled descent. Power's in. We got a nice escape route. Oh man, that made me dizzy. Whoa, that made me dizzy. If I have the power, I can elect to do a pedal turn right over the pad. We'll see here. Okay. I'm feeling pretty good, so we're going to do a pedal turn. Remember, over these log pads, you kind of want to have skids perpendicular to the logs. I'm drifting off the pad here. Drifting off the pad. Ah, that's not good. Come on, don't overcorrect. There we go. Now it's safe for everybody. We can all have fun. Alright, so now we just gotta land. Nice and easy. Reduction of collective. The ground should be a surprise. And it was. Reduce my inputs. Pop outside. We'll ride a center line. That's okay. A lot to think about. Oh yeah, let's see how that went. So there's the landing. Here's the takeoff. I think. Speed it up here. Any second now. And there it is. Little wobbly getting out of there. There's my torque turn. And we just get on out of there. Up, up, and away. Ah. Oh, I screwed that up. There we go. This should be the approach. This is just after I did my power check. That's where I started to get a little squirrely, and I was telling myself not to overcorrect. I was kind of talking myself through it. Looks like I did go past the threshold of the pad there with a skid. It's generally bad practice, I think. I'm nice and perpendicular to the rows of logs, which is always the goal. There it is. Alright, we're back in it. Unpaused. Power's coming in. Next stop is our last stop before we head back to the airstrip. And it's higher than this, so we'll see how that goes. Gain some airspeed, trade for altitude here. I'm so curious how the 206 is going to do up here. The other day I never even got to this altitude because I was just too heavy, and I just I couldn't even land that last pad without complete loss of tail rotor effectiveness. So anyway, if you look real close, there's a cluster of buildings up there. Our helipads up there. And that, my friends, is up at 14,000 feet. It's really cool. The first time I came here, the real world weather was set, and there was a cloud deck, and it was overcast, and I decided to just climb up through the clouds to see what was up there. And so I was just going up and sitting there thinking, okay, well, I hope I don't hit anything. I don't think I'm going to, because I started down there in that canyon. I was climbing up, and I popped out, and the top of that hill, or the top of this mountain, was poking out through the tops of the clouds, and it was pretty incredible. It was a really cool moment for a simulator, for me anyway. Really spectacular. Honestly, don't think I'm going to be able to do this landing. I would have probably had to let off about 200 pounds back there at that last stop. Alright, through 13,500 right now. Climb rate's getting a little sluggish. That's a cool little gap right there. I'm going to have to check that out with the helicopter in a second. Traded a little bit of airspeed for altitude right there. Engine temperatures are looking good. We're at 14,100 feet. Alright, there's pretty much only one way into this. Hell of a landing zone. we're going to set up and do a power check. Be surprised if we're able to do this. Hopefully the winds are in my favor. I believe the winds were out of my 1 o'clock here, my front quarter. So with indicated airspeed at 0, or excuse me, not 0. So I got about 4 knots of ground speed, and I'm indicating, it looks like somewhere between 10 and 20 knots of airspeed. So I actually might be able to pull this off. Yeah, the winds are pretty much directly in our favor. If this were real life, though, the winds would be blocked by that building, and that'd be another issue entirely. So we're gonna it's already kind of set up here. We're just gonna kind of nose down and pick up a little bit of airspeed, just enough to start this approach off. There we go. Engine temperature's looking good. Power's looking good. Yeah, this is a lot better than I was anticipating. This is good. Oh, there's that tail rotor effectiveness coming into play. Barely eking out a left yaw with full left pedal. Oh, that is freaky. Oh, man. That is like the limit. That was so marginal. Whew. All right. Well, my nose broke the plane there. That's all right though. Man, look at that. That is just wild. All right. Hold on. Coming in. Coming in hot. There goes my sound. I don't know what it is about the Bell 206 and X-Plane. Maybe it's because it's a X-Plane 10 bird, but I don't get I don't get sound sometimes when I go into replay mode. And once it goes away, it's away for good. Alright, this is about where I was starting my hover power check. Yep, there it was. I was doing the hover power check. I decided I was pretty good and decided that I would continue the approach. That's cool. Alright, I thought I was good to go here, and then I started to struggle with lost tail rotor effectiveness. I just kind of plopped it on down. I was done screwing around. Cool. Well, there's a view. Alright, we'll head back to the airstrip. Power's coming in. I gotta ask myself a question though. So fuel, 153. I can't remember what I started with, but I'll have to note that. 153 pounds. Or gallons, I mean. That can't be right. 153 pounds maybe of fuel. Okay. You know how this is gonna go, right? We're just gonna kind of... Whee! No problem. As long as I got airspeed, I could go all day at this altitude. So when you start getting into hovering, that you're really looking closely at your powers and your margins. Be careful to not overspeed the rotor in this profile of flight. Oh, there's Guinea. I'm being a very, very bad pilot right now. Having a little too much fun. Of course, the simulator does betray the sense of speed that you get in a real helicopter. When you're going fast in a real helicopter, you can feel it. Also, unfortunately, I don't feel like this simulator does a good job of simulating retreating blade stall. That or the flight model doesn't. I don't know which it is. Some graphical issues there. Trying to kill off this airspeed without blowing up my rotor system is difficult. I'm basically topped out at my max rotor RPM right now. All I want to do is shoot that little gap right there. I'm in a climb. Ah, I'm barely overspeeding the rotor too. Oh man. Yeah, that was bad. That was all bad. That was... I'm rushing things because I feel like I'm running out of time. All bad. You never want to do that. Yeah, the issue is this is a teetering rotor system here. It's semi-rigid. And I just did a negative G maneuver there. And very, very likely in a real helicopter that would have caused a major malfunction. A little disappointing. That's okay, it's a simulator, we're having fun, doing what we want. And this should be the riverbed parallel to the runway. Back to where we started. That could have been more smooth. Alright, oh, you know what? I did start a clock at the start of all that. I wonder what it says now. Well, that's not right. Oh, hell. Whatever. Alright, guys. Thought you were almost gone. No, no, I got a replay to do here. Where the hell? Oh, wow, I'm way too far back. Oh, that's a nice graphical issue. And power's coming in. That's where I did that negative G. This is where cool factor points went to 0. Alright guys, we're at idle, ready to shut her down, so y'all take care, and hope you enjoyed that. I know it was long, but really cool, huge challenge in the Bell 206, but like you saw, we got it done, so awesome. Glad you enjoyed, y'all take care.